Greetings and salutations, humans. My good friend Nicole informed me that a lot of you new models had questions about your career, and about like what to do, how to pick, and so on and so forth. I don't specifically have any specific questions, so I guess I'll do a series of just answering basic questions. She sent me a couple of things she wanted me to talk about as far as career. Because it's very important that you kind of know what you're getting into. Modeling isn't like many other things out there. You really have to know what you're doing or pay attention, or you'll be, snagged along and dragged like a person behind a train, which will hurt. I guarantee you won't heal quite right. But so yeah, let's get to addressing some of these issues. Well, I guess first I could talk about myself a little bit, be egotistical and all that. My name is Andrew Thomas Clifton. I am a commercial wedding photographer. I shoot weddings, models, for campaigns, for clothing lines, for anything you can pretty much name. I've shot models for. And you guys have a really wide variety of uses as far as what you do. So I've shot. Well, I'll just show you images after that and quit talking about myself. I don't like to talk about myself anyway. I'm crazy. So Nicole says, all right, a big thing to talk about is, I guess, picking a photographer. That's a good thing. In general, the historic rule of photography and modeling was you want to be a model, you would go to an agency or a photographer, you would pay them a set fee. They would create you a composition card, which has some images, some information, through the process of shooting sets of different images and different looks or styles or I don't know how much you guys know about the details of what it is, but I'll try and go back and clean it up. So yeah, you'll pay them, shoot a composition card, start your career. In an internet age, that thing has changed a whole lot. You do not need an agency to market you. You do not need an agency to manage you. If you don't have a career as a model, you don't need management. There are a lot of people who will, get caught up in this whole sign up with this agency and pay $650 and you can be on our site and we'll do this for you and this, but they never guarantee you work, and that's a really big problem, because especially now in what I call the top model generation, TV has people thinking that you're just going to be a model. You can just jump out here and do it, which is not the case. If you have no specific skill set, if you're not talented or somewhat, if you're not, I don't know how to explain it. It's not about being beautiful. Modeling is more acting than being beautiful. The models I know that work the most and can the most consistently are those who are talented actresses. And I don't mean just able to sit there and look at a soap opera and go, or something and go, I love you, chicken. No, you have to really have a skill, or have a feature. So the big thing now is learning how to manage yourself. In 2010, the first thing you need to do is pick a photographer and pay them to get images. Do not expect free images to get you anywhere. They might. Paid images might not get you anywhere. I'm not saying pick the top of the name photographer in your city or close by or fly to LA to work with whoever, vendor, whatever, because none of that guarantees you any work. Generally, a photographer you're looking for understands models, shoots in the genres you're interested in. If you're 5'4", you're not hitting the runway. So you want to pick photographers that specialize in editorial work. Or if you are tall and slim and have great skin, runways for you, pick a photographer that shoots a whole lot of runway work or works with people that use those images. It's a lot of research involved with this. You don't just, pick up the web in 2 seconds and look at someone's work and say, ooh, you're mine, or look at what a friend's done. Because a friend, generally two people don't have the same career in modeling. It's very, very, very rare. Very rare. One like 1.4 billion or something like that. I don't know. But so the objective here, I'm just trying to be funny because I don't want you guys to be all like, oh, he's boring. But the general idea of picking a photographer is pick someone that works in the field you're interested in, works in, or if you're starting off, it's actually kind of cool to shoot with someone who is starting out at the same time before you go to them, because that can help build you, both of you at the same time. The only danger of doing that is that neither one of you have any experience, so neither one of you know what people are actually looking for. They're not just looking for pretty images, or they're not just looking for you to look good. They're looking for specific things in specific fields of photography and modeling. well, I don't want to call it modeling, but that's what it is. Different fields of commercial America. So, like a hand modeling group is not looking for someone's face looks great because they don't care. Your hand's going to be in the pictures. Or fashion, is not going to care how commercial you are because you're not going to be doing commercial stuff with fashion in general. It's there's no set path to this. Everyone follows their own rules, but basic rules are working with someone that knows what they're doing is always a help. And someone who has experience and contacts in the industry so they can be like, hey, I have this great person here who wants to be a model. Here's their comp card. Here's their look, yada, 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 yada. Because just like any other industry in America, this industry is built on relationships. Like the people that I know from who I work with are much more likely to take someone that I recommend to them than they are someone who comes in off the street. Either the person off the street has more talented and is more beautiful because they know that I do the work that they like, so they want me to be almost a filter for them, if that makes any sense. You don't want to go to any place in the mall, ever. You don't want to go to anyone that asks you to pay them a ridiculous amount of money and doesn't make any kind of promises once you run your career, ever. It's very tricky starting off. I think what I'll do is I'll answer specific questions because this is probably going to sound like a big juxtaposition of everything. It's kind of hard to, my brain filter it out because it's all part of one big whole. So I think the big thing for you guys to take from today is you have to pick a photographer to work with. That's the best first step you can do because that's important. Your images are your selling point. If your images are not good, even if you're talented, but even if you are, have good images, it's weird. Like, you can be a great model, have terrible pictures, nobody will hire you. You can be a terrible model with great pictures, everyone will hire you. Or it can be the opposite. So you can't depend on specifics in that regard. But the specific to depend on is finding a photographer that works in your field and meeting with them, sitting with them, talking to other models that have worked with them, say, hey, has this work got you work? Has this work got you, things doing? Has he been able to put you in touch with good contacts? Yada, yada, yada. Is he a nice guy? Does he shower? Does he wash his butt? I mean, this stuff is all very important. So, yeah, picking your photographer is very interesting. And I'll kind of cover more in the second one. It's actually pretty weird. I don't look at myself all the time. So picking a reasonable price for a photographer, it just depends on your area. That's very, very tough. Here in Chicago, you can expect to pay around $750 for a 3-look plus headshot comp card. And that's a good price. And it's not, it's not for the faint of heart. If you're cheap, you're out of luck. You're going to end up going nowhere. Unless you can but I'm not to say that. To say that being cheap will not do you well in the long run. Because you're either going to pay for these looks individually when they're going to cost more, or if you buy a package, typically photographers will offer it for you cheaper. Because something like that, they have to have makeup, hair, wardrobe. Typically they'll have an agency contact there to kind of preview and see what you're doing live. That will help, for you along. So, but it's Chicago $750. Atlanta, it's a little cheaper because it's the South. L.A., it's, of course, more expensive because it's L.A. In New York, you can expect us to pay a ridiculous amount of money for anything you do. So, yeah. It's a good first video, I think. You think so? The Invisible Man didn't say anything. So, yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below here or email them to Nick so she can get them to me so I can kind of answer specific questions because I didn't know what to say. This is really hard to do, just to talk about everything in 1 minute. Actually 9 minutes and 18 seconds. So yeah, thanks for your time.